JOANN Fabrics is planning to close more than 500 stores across the country. Welcome to Sewing Report Live. I'm your host, Jen. I keep you up to date on all of the latest happenings in the sewing and craft world. And breaking developments, we have just learned that JOANN's is planning to close about 2/3 of its stores across the United States. We're going to be breaking this all down in this video. All right, so let's get started here. So this is on the JOANN restructuring website, and it says stores remain open as we seek to maximize company value. JOANN stores are open, JOANN.com is shipping orders, and team members are receiving pay and benefits as we evaluate our best path forward. But they're dropping the shoe here. After carefully reviewing all available strategic paths to address our ongoing industry, economic, and financial challenges, JOANN and its financial stakeholders determined that initiating a court-supervised sale process is the best course of action to maximize the value of the business. As part of the ongoing Chapter 11 process, on February 12th, 2025, JOANN filed a motion seeking court authority to begin closing approximately 500 stores across the nation. Right-sizing our store footprint is a critical part of our efforts to ensure the best path forward for JOANN. Yes, it's official. They have filed a motion with the bankruptcy court. If you're kind of new to this is JOANN's second bankruptcy within 1 year. JOANN is committed. Okay, so they have a store closure list. So if you want to go to the website, by the way, all of the resources I will be sharing are linked down below in the description box. Also, if you're kind of new here and you're leaving a comment, I ask that you be polite, respectful, no politics, no self-promotion, no spam. Be cool in the comment section. And if you are breaking the rules of, the community rules here, your comment will be removed. So keep that in mind. Also, if you enjoy this channel, you appreciate the value, this is an independent show. I don't have any sponsors at this time. And, there's a lot of work that goes into maintaining this type of channel. I would encourage you to check out my Etsy shop. This is one way you can support Sewing Report Live. It's at sewingreport.etsy.com. And I also sell fabric and sewing supplies, also linked in the description box. Appreciate everything. I know you guys have been coming back here to just join the JOANN coverage. I know this has been going on for well over a year. So I have fabric, sewing supplies, lots of stuff. I'm now selling fabric by the yard, free shipping over $35 within the United States, and eligible orders over $65 or more will get an additional 10% off. Lots of stuff in the shop. And again, I ship everything myself. This is a solo operation here. All right, so let's take a look at some of the media coverage here. So this is from fastcompany.com. JOANN Fabrics is closing hundreds of stores. See the full list of doomed locations in bankruptcy update. The company initially said it would not close any locations as part of its second Chapter 11 process. However, its fortunes appear to have changed. Yeah, you got that right. In another devastating blow to customers and employees of JOANN Inc., the popular fabric and crafts retailer is moving to close a significant chunk of its brick-and-mortar locations as part of its ongoing bankruptcy proceedings, according to a court filing on Wednesday. And by the way, JOANN's, from what I understand, they don't own the real estate. They don't really have anything to sell in terms of land or property. It looks like, I believe most or all of the locations are leased. So they don't have any of those assets to sell. The company, which filed for Chapter 11 protection a second time last month, had initially said it would continue operating its approximately 800 stores as it restructured and sought a buyer. However, it told a court this week that it has now identified a number of underperforming locations during the bidding process that it wants to close as a way of cutting costs. As the sale process progressed and prospective bidders continued to conduct diligence and refine their potential bids, the debtors and their advisors were able to identify a subset of underperforming stores that are unlikely to be considered or included in any going concern bid, lawyers for the retailer said in the court filing. So they're actually admitting that about 2/3 of all of the 800 stores are underperforming. That's not great. The filing lists hundreds of locations across more than 40 states, with big states like California, Florida, Illinois, and Michigan being hit the hardest. JOANN says in the filing that it would like to begin store closing sales immediately. It warns that additional locations are likely to close as well. Reached for comment by Fast Company, JOANN spokesperson Amanda Hayes, she's not having a great week. Or great year, I guess. I don't know. Confirmed the closings in a statement. All right. This was a very difficult decision to make given the major impact we know it will have on our team members, our customers, and all of the communities we serve. A careful analysis of store performance and future strategic fit for the company determined which stores should remain operating as usual at this time. Right-sizing our store footprint is a critical part of our efforts to ensure the best path forward for JOANN. Yeah. A difficult needle to thread. Founded in 1943, JOANN has faced significant challenges in recent years with factors such as the pandemic, inflation, and the broader shift to online retail hindering its operations. It was taken private last year when it filed for bankruptcy a first time, but it said at the time that it expected to continue operations once it emerged. A second bankruptcy came at the beginning of this year. Although JOANN told customers that stores would remain open during the process, it warned that it could go out of business if it is unable to find a suitable buyer. Gordon Brothers, the restructuring firm that recently took control of embattled retailer Big Lots, has emerged as a stalking horse bidder for JOANN. If it is successful, the firm is likely to liquidate and close all stores. Ooh. All right, so we're going to get to the list in a little bit here. By the way, it is linked in the description box. This is from USA Today. JOANN to close 500 of its 800 fabric and craft stores after second bankruptcy filing. Let's see if there's any new info here. Yeah, the news keeps getting worse for fans of fabric and craft store JOANN, which is now set to close, yeah, definitely more than half. All right, the embattled retailer first filed for bankruptcy after securing $132 million in new financing to put towards its $1 billion debt. So they cut the debt in half. But it looks like things haven't gone super well. And they even admitted in their court hearing, which I do have the full audio here on Sewing Report Live. If you want to take a listen, it's like 2 hours. But they admitted that they weren't able to get, a lot of the vendors did not trust JOANN's after the first bankruptcy. So JOANN had a hard time procuring inventory. And they said that impacted their holiday 2024 season. It had a very negative impact. And finally, things started to turn around, but they said it was too late by then. All right, however, a rash of store closures followed before the company again filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in January to facilitate a sale process to maximize the value of its business. Since becoming a private company in April 2024, the board and management team have continued to execute on top and bottom line initiatives to manage costs and drive value, Michael Prendergast, interim CEO of JOANN, said in January. However, the last several years have presented significant and lasting challenges in the retail environment, which, coupled with our current financial position and constrained inventory levels, forced us to take this step. All right. A careful analysis of store performance and future strategic fit for the company determined which stores should remain operating as usual. So I think the store that I went to in my vlog here on the channel, I believe that one is staying open, but a bunch of stores in my area are going to be closing, as well as across the state of Florida where I am. All right, my old employer CNN, JOANN, the bankrupt fabrics retailer, is closing 500 of its 800 stores. Yep. All right. In its second bankruptcy filing last month, JOANN blamed inventory issues that were acute and unexpected. The company had previously revealed in court documents that it faced an unexpected ramp down and in some cases the entire cessation of production of some critical products. The company also said at the time it was looking for a buyer. Newly filed court documents reveal that as the sale process progressed and prospective bidders continued to conduct diligence and refine their potential bids, the debtors and their advisors were able to identify a subset of underperforming stores that are unlikely to be considered or included in any going concern bid. JOANN joins a growing list of struggling brick-and-mortar stores that are unable to stay financially viable in a changing consumer environment. Many Americans have dialed back discretionary purchases in response to inflation. I think a lot of us are feeling that. I've been more careful about my purchases lately, and I'm trying to figure out where I can cut back in our family finance as well. So I think a lot of people are doing that. Overall in retail, some brands that were on a downward trajectory before 2020 enjoyed a pandemic and post-pandemic shopping boom. But as normal shopping patterns return, some of those brands are now headed back down that path to bankruptcy. Oh yeah. Beyond JOANN, other retailers include Kohl's and Macy's. Yep. By the way, I got an email from JOANN just today advertising their JOANN brand sewing machines. And I was like, well, if you look at their social media, it's almost like they're in denial. Like that's kind of crazy. So I got an email just today and they were advertising. Let me see if I can pop this out here. It's funny because they just launched that JOANN brand sewing machine. Like, was it last month or something? I mean, it seems like they're focused on all of the wrong things and they're trying to do, like they were doing influencer marketing. They're launching their own brand, like private label brand of sewing machines. It's like, do we really need that right now? So they're still continuing to advertise the JOANN sewing machines. By the way, the Ditto pattern projector, which I still have to open mine. I know it's kind of crazy. I've had mine for over a year. It's now down to like $199. I don't know what the support is going to be like. Ditto Patterns is listed, I believe, as like one of the debtors on like the court case, I believe. So I don't know how the support is going to be on that product moving forward. But if you are looking to pick it up, it is super cheap right now. But I think the future of because it runs on an app, I think the future of that product is a little questionable. So just proceed at your own risk here. But yeah, they're still advertising the JOANN sewing machines, which is, I just find a little funny. And they just launched their own Fabny brand of sewing notions. So I guess that seemed to me like this is like wasted effort. I don't know. They got the heavy duty machine. I doubt there's going to be any new JOANN sewing machines. I mean, you would think. You would really think. I don't know. By the way, so if you want to keep up with the bankruptcy court case, again, link is in the description box. But there was supposed to be a court hearing on February 11th, and then it was postponed until at least this, was it Friday? It's going to be on Valentine's Day. So here is the latest. So February 14th at 9:30, there's going to be a hearing on certain first day motions. By the way, I tried to sign up to get audio of the proceedings, and I did not get an email about it, so I'm not really sure if I'm going to try to get the audio for that hearing. I should be able to get it at least afterward. I'm going to try to listen live, but I don't know. I'm a little unclear on how I can access that. So if you are just like an observer, you can listen to audio only. Only the participants can get the video, which would be kind of cool to get the video. But I was able to download the audio after the first hearing on January 16th, but hopefully I can get access. The one that was supposed to be on the 11th, I never got a notification from the court on accessing, it's like a Zoom or something. So I'm hoping I can do something. There's going to be a creditors meeting on February 19th. I think by this weekend, we should probably know a little bit more what's going on in terms of the buyer. I imagine it kind of looks like at this point it's going to be Gordon Brothers. It looks like these 500 store closings looks like those are happening. And then this is a list of the actual store closings. So if you want to look up the list, again, it's in the description box. So you can see if any stores close to you are affected. There's a lot. Alaska, Alabama, Arkansas, Arizona, lots in California. Imagine the leases of those stores are probably very expensive. Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, lots in Florida, Georgia, Iowa, Idaho, lots in Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, Maine, Minnesota, Missouri, Mississippi, Montana, North Carolina, North Dakota. Is this Nebraska? New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, Nevada, New York, Ohio. I mean, these are a lot of stores. It's not great that 2/3 of the stores were quote unquote underperforming. Pennsylvania, Oregon, Rhode Island, one store, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, South Dakota, Utah, Virginia, Vermont, Washington, Wisconsin. Okay, there's like one, Wyoming, and one, okay, Hudson, Ohio. And this isn't like as new, but I also noticed that there was some coverage of JOANN closing the Opelika, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, Alabama warehouse. to lay off nearly 250 workers. So that was from like last week, but I mean, this is probably happening now, I imagine. This is a TV station in Alabama. Fabrics and crafts retailer JOANN has warned that its Opelika facility may close this spring if the struggling chain does not find a buyer. In a notice submitted last week to the Alabama Department of Commerce, JOANN stated it would begin laying off 244 employees at the distribution center on March 31st. Yep. All right. The massive Opelika, sorry, forgive me on that, facility which opened in 2006, is situated alongside several other warehouse and manufacturing facilities, including Walmart, Niagara Bottling, and Golden State Foods. Yeah. I like how last week, they were telling people that the 800 stores and the website would remain open. That's obviously BS. Come on. Here's another article about the Alabama facility, distribution center. So 250 employees in Alabama are probably going to lose their jobs, as well as thousands and thousands of employees that work at these 500 JOANN stores. That's super crazy. So that's sort of the latest with JOANN. I was going to try to cover the hearing on February 11th, but that obviously didn't happen. And that's fairly common for courts to move dates around or postpone things. That happens a lot, so that's not super uncommon. So I'm going to keep you guys up to date. Again, disclaimer, I am not an attorney, so, take this as you will. But yeah, that's the latest. I was also thinking about this. Even if the JOANN stores close, JOANN does have they have a lot of digital properties and assets that would be valuable to the right buyer. I imagine they have millions and millions of customer information from millions and millions of customers. That's valuable from a marketing perspective for sure to someone that's also in the crafting niche. So that has some value. They have social media accounts with hundreds of thousands, millions of followers. They've got a Facebook page. They've got the website, probably gets a lot of traffic. In Instagram, I think they have a TikTok. They have a YouTube channel that did recently get hacked by a crypto scam. So that was kind of interesting. So JOANN, even though the brick and mortar business isn't going great, JOANN, the brand has value, just the name, because it's got household recognition, and that has a lot of customer data that it could sell to the right buyer. That has some monetary value, and it also has all of these digital and social media platform, properties. Somebody could buy that, and they could probably make some pretty decent change. Obviously, not enough to save it, but a lot of money if they were to sell the digital assets. So that was something I was thinking about the other day. But yeah, if you look on their social media accounts, it's kind of crazy because they kind of act like there's nothing going on, and then there's a bunch of replies from concerned customers asking about store closures and the bankruptcy, and they're kind of like ignoring those. So it's almost like, I don't know. I don't think that's a great PR strategy to just pretend there's nothing going on. But if you want to look at the latest, you can find that on the JOANNrestructuring.com website. So you can get I believe at this point they're no longer selling or redeeming gift cards. I believe I kind of heard that. A lot of people, obviously this is going to affect a lot of us because for many of you, this is the only fabric and craft store you have in your area in terms of a physical store. So yeah, they've got customer frequently asked questions. They've got a lot of stuff here. Let's see here. All right. So you can kind of see if you have any questions, they've got a lot of information on this website. I mean, things aren't looking great. I don't know what's going to happen with the remaining 300 stores. So I'm going to try to keep you guys updated, but I hope you, enjoy the coverage here of the train wreck that is JOANN Fabrics. If you do, I would encourage you to subscribe to this channel, Sewing Report Live, where I try to bring you the latest happenings in the world of sewing crafts. This video is not really going to be edited because I'm going to try to get this out as soon as I can. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell for notifications, and if you'd like to support the work I'm doing here, you can visit my Etsy shop that is still in business, where I sell fabric and sewing supplies. I appreciate everyone that's new over here, and guys, be cool in the comments section. Anyways, I am Jen with Sewing Report Live. Keep you guys updated. I'll probably have another update this weekend after the Valentine's Day court proceedings. So I'm going to try to look more into that and hopefully have something on Saturday or Sunday for you guys once I kind of digest everything. Hopefully I can get a hold of the audio from the court hearing, because I actually listened to all 2 hours of the January 16th hearing, and it was some parts were super boring AF, but other parts actually were like kind of interesting. So that's the latest on the JOANN's second bankruptcy. I'm Jen with Sewing Report Live, and I will see you again for the next one.